there a mental illness that you deal with? That's rough. I'm sorry.
I'm on medicine for it. I do great.
Yeah? Good. I'm glad you found something that works for you.
That and helping people.
Yeah. Helping people is part of your medicine?
I love people.
Hmm.
I love the people that work here.
Hmm.
They're really cool people.
I agree. I like them too.
I feel like I'm doing something that's bigger than me.
Yeah, I mean, they're impacting the whole community, huh? And now you're part of that.
And there's these women on, sometimes they get apartments. And we've had several since I've been here that got places to live and got to get out of the streets. But I think some people have mental illness and they don't know how to deal with things, so they just live on the streets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier with Pastor Robert, how there's so many people who are living on the streets because of having a mental illness, right? What have you seen with that specifically on the streets? Is that true?
Yeah, I've seen people that talk to themselves because they have schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily know who's got a mental illness.
Right.
But generally, if somebody talks to themselves, like they're talking to somebody,
Yeah.
they're generally probably got schizophrenia.
Mm. So do you think there's a lot of people who have schizophrenia who are living on the street?
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Is it like really hard to treat
think
schizophrenia?
so because I have a friend that right now is going through a hard time. He's got schizophrenia.
Yeah.
And I've been praying for him. I had the church praying for him.
Praying for him is so powerful.
Although
So
this
powerful.
lady, when I lived in the apartment, I said, "How are you doing today?" She jumped all over me and said, "Well," said, "I just came from a hot kitchen and it's hot outside and I had to walk home." I was like, okay. So
Yeah.
I started praying for her.
Yeah.
And about 8 months later, we were at the pool,
Mm-hmm.
and she said hello to me.
Oh.
Real nice.
Yeah. Like a totally different person.
Totally different person.
Oh my gosh.
Because I prayed blessings on her.
Praise God. God's good. Still healing
Prayer
people.
works.
Yes, it does, ma'am. Yes, it does.
I pray for people that I know or could be so much more
Mm.
if they would just go to church and believe in God. I'm hoping my grandchildren can keep going to church because they just kicked out my son. Because my grandchildren need to go to church.
Mm.
And they like where we go.
Yeah.
They sat with me last Sunday.
That's a victory. Hopefully that continues. Well, your prayers are powerful. God's listening. And you know that. I don't got to tell you that.
And Regina's one of these people. When I first met her, she was kind of hard to be around. But then she got kicked out last winter for some things she did.
Yeah.
And so she's been kind of a hard case, but
She's one of the residents here? Or she was?
she came last night, which was nice to see her.
Yeah.
Because I like to tell her I'm thinking about her. And
So you're hoping she comes back tonight or
she
tomorrow?
matters.
Yes, she does. This is just an electric eraser, by the way. It spins around and helps me to get the light.
Cool.
Because when I erase the charcoal, it brings light back in.
Oh, that
It's
is
not
so
just for
cool.
erasing mistakes, it's also for bringing the light back.
Why?
Those flies.
But Pastor Roberts is a good pastor.
Hmm.
He
Sounds like you guys have a good friendship. He was telling me how much he likes you.
he's really good at this job because he believes in these people.
Mm-hmm. That's everything.
And his daughters are very good at what they do.
Hannah and who else?
Hannah and Deanna.
And Deanna. Your eyes look really pretty.
Thank you.
They're glowing. They're glowing with your tears.
I love people. Taking it easy. It's not hard what I do. It's worthwhile.
But it's good to not take your gift for granted because you think it's not hard, but other people would think it's really, really hard. But you,
Yeah, my friends at church, one of them says, you ought to go to Billings apartments and live there.
yeah.
Why are you living in a homeless shelter?
What do you say to them?
I said, I've got everything I need.
Yeah.
I volunteer at the homeless shelter.
That's
And
it.
I'm able to bless, with the check that I get, sometimes I'm able to bless people.
Yeah. How do you do that? What's one way you've done that?
I bought a lady the other day, I bought her some highlighters for her Bible.
Oh, cool.
And I bought planners and Bibles and
That's so
helped me
kind.
out.
Oh my gosh. Because you probably could use that for a million different things, but you're using it for other people. That shows a lot about your heart.
And I bought my grandkids stuff too.
How old are your grandkids?
I have one that's 9, one that's 7, one that's 5, and one that's 3.
Oh my goodness.
They're all in the same family.
Wow. And do you get to see them?
Yeah, I'm gonna get to see them on the 25th. So we're gonna celebrate my birthday.
Oh, good. Happy birthday month.
Yeah. I'll be 71 years old.
Oh my goodness. Is the 71st birthday going to be different than the 70th birthday in any way?
Probably not, because I
No?
get to see my grandkids.
Okay.
That's so fun.
Where were you on your 70th birthday?
Here,
Here too?
I was here. They bought the people in the kitchen made me a huge cake,
Oh.
and Jerry made me some brownies and ice cream. So we had plenty to eat, I'll tell you.
That's good. That's what it's all about, right? Good
Yeah,
food.
It made me feel good because, well, the people in the kitchen like me because I always call them by their name.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you call somebody by their name, you're giving them respect and honor.
Amen. That's it.
I even do that in stores. I'll read people's name tags and call them by their name.
It makes a huge difference, I think. I feel like people respond totally different to me when I call them by their name. Like, it's usually followed with a smile when I call people by their name rather than kind of like a little bit of resistance. There's like an openness and like
Well,
a...
it's like I bumped into these two black ladies at the store, and I said, "Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
And they got a whole different look on their face.
Yeah?
Like they were expecting me to say, "Why are you bumping into me?"
Really? So they didn't look hostile. Instead, they looked...
Please.
That's so good. This is looking good. I think I'm going to focus on your eyes in this portrait because your eyes say everything.
We used to have a mom and her 2 boys there with
Will you talk real quick?
Hello, hello.
Y'all continue.
Okay. We'll keep on keeping on.
Sometimes I wish we could celebrate their birthdays. That would make them feel good. The homeless.
Oh yeah, that should totally happen.
I think it'd be great to celebrate their birthdays. Make them feel special for a day.
Yes. Submit that idea to Robert and see what you guys can do together. That's a fantastic idea.
Because I think everybody should feel special. Because they are special. They may not have new clothes. And I worry about them being able to wash their clothes. They don't have very many clothes.
Yeah.
It's little things like that that make a difference. You know, just being able to wash your clothes.
You ever do that for them?
We can't.
Just for the people who are in the program, huh?
Yeah. We wouldn't have time. There's so, especially when we start getting 24 people, there's no time. We only have 2 washers.
Yeah.
It's just unpractical for us to wash their clothes. But the little things mean a lot to them. Like I ask them how they're doing when they come in. Because people try to make them be invisible. And it's like when you're homeless, it's like you're an invisible person. And people don't need to feel invisible.
No.
What a cute puppy.
Oh, puppy.
That's a young dog too. He's smelling the food.
This is looking great. You look wonderful.
Thank you. Next Wednesday is my birthday. This coming Wednesday.
Oh, cool. Great. Happy birthday.
I'll have a good day because they always make me feel good here. I prayed for I think one of the reasons why they picked me is because one time I was coming out from the bathroom and the girls were passing me and I said, I've been praying for y'all even though I don't know your names.
Yeah, that makes an impact. That showed a lot about your character.
I pray for the men too, even though I don't really know very many of them.
Yeah. What was your childhood like?
Oh, I grew up in a middle income class. I had my own car when I was in high school. And if my dad was still living, I'd probably have a car.
Yeah.
He always kept me in a car. But he'd be over 100 years old now because he was born in 1911.
1911.
So he'd be way old. But he died when I was 24. My best friend.
That's really young.
He wasn't young, but because he was probably in his 40s when I was born.
Yeah.
Because my mom was 32 and she's 11 years younger than him.
Who taught you virtue in your life, do you think?
My dad.
Your dad?
My dad would do stuff like, look, he would help people get a car and they would make payments, and if they couldn't make payments, he'd let them wait until then they'd double their payments or whatever they had to do.
Yeah.
But he was on, people could call him and wake him up, and he'd go and start their car and stuff like that. My dad was always doing something for somebody. Getting keys out of trunks. My dad was always helping somebody. He was a car dealer. Now I
It sounds
probably,
like he inspired you to show kindness and compassion to others too.
yeah, he did.
He's one of your main inspirations, it sounds like.
And we always went to church. And I always knew Jesus loved me, so when bad things would happen, I would tell people, God promised me nothing could happen to me that he wouldn't be right there.
Okay. Just put that on overtime.
Well, you're going to have to clean your hands at the end of the day.
Yes, I am. So what's your message to the world, if you could say anything? What's your message
People
to the
need
world?
to love people more often and pray for those who hurt you, because those are two things that are so important.
Love people more often and pray for those who hurt you.
And when somebody gets on your nerves, give them a little grace and just, because they may be having a bad day. If
Those
people
are
would
good
just love
messages.
more. I got him a bite.
One Chick-fil-A fry.
He doesn't want it.
Let's see, I'm trying to think what I could write at the bottom of all the things you just said. I'm going to write one at the bottom of your portrait. Love people more often. Pray for those who hurt you. And last thing you said,
Give people grace.
give people grace.
God gives it to you.
That's,
And sometimes we don't really deserve all the grace he gives us.
I'm going to do the first one you said, 'cause it seems like that's a huge part of what defines you. Let's see. Love people more often.
He wants chicken, not french fries. I know what that dog wants. They got Chick-fil-A over there. So where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles area.
From Los Angeles.
Yeah, south of LA in Orange County.
I know where Orange County is.
Yeah?
Yeah. My sister used to live near Orange County. My half sister. Of course, I didn't know she was my half sister until my niece told me. 'Cause I never knew there was any difference between us. That's the way my dad was. He took somebody with a child and made her his own.
Say that again?
He took a woman with a child, and made her daughter his own.
Oh. There's his good character shining through again, right? All right, you ready to see it? Okay, I'm going to share Tony's portrait with her. I haven't made a portrait ever like this before. This is very unique to you. Are you ready?
That is neat.
So I drew this aura of light around your head to show God's spirit in you. and how you are displaying God's Spirit every day to those around you, and how Jesus is shining through you. And I wrote some of these quotes at the bottom, and I really wanted to focus on your eyes in this portrait. And I chose this white piece of metal because I met you in the laundry room when you were serving other people. And so this white piece of metal represents how you are always serving others and allowing your time and your energies to be poured out towards others no matter where they're at. So thank you for what you're doing for the mission, and thank you for letting your light shine here. Love you. You can stare at it for a little bit. You can hold it for a bit.
What are you going to do with it?
Well, we'll probably hang it here at the mission, and I can do a little more work on it too. I think there's some more work I could do on it a little bit. Get some more hair in there and do a little more with the light, but I think that's the gist of it. Those hopeful eyes, those hopeful, loving eyes. Thank you, Tony. Anything else you want to say before we walk off the air?
No, just I hope that everybody understands that homeless people are just people that have a little bit of misdirection. They still have feelings and they still get hurt. And they feel love. You just show them a little bit of understanding and they shine through all that's going on with them.
Amen. That's a good message. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Can I help you up?
Join
Take
me.
the mic off out there.
Okay. Hi, little dog. You're lost.
You're lost, little guy.
Well, before we bring our next guest in, I do want to give a shout out to our sponsors that have sponsored this for us through these hours. And so those sponsors are Choice Media, Shane and Stacy Hand at Emerald Family Wellness Group, Randy and Paul O'Neill, Mark and Mig Owens, and Creative Cannon. They have sponsored us, and they've also provided all of the lighting, the cameras, the technical support. And so we thank all of our sponsors that have allowed us and helped us to do this. And so our next guest is it's a young lady that's been associated with Faith City for a while. So Ms. Holly, if you'll join me, come on in here. We'll sit down.
Perfect.
Come on, girl. Oh, all right. Well, this is Holly Hicks. Holly, I met Holly back around 2018 or 19. She was in what we had then. Now our program's called the Esther's House program. Back then it was Hope for Women. And so she came in, graduated our program, and has transformed her life. Her and the Lord have come together and done some things. And so we have a great opportunity just to get to chit chat a little bit. So Holly, thank you for taking time. I know you're busy with your family and work and whatnot. And so first question I've got for you is, in your time, your life, has there been a time that you have either been homeless or you have been impacted by somebody that's been homeless? Let's start with that.
I would say that, yes, one, I think it was a generation. A part of my life, I was with my mom, and we lived out in a car. And then when I was in my drug addiction, I lost all, trust in people, and it put me in a homeless position.
Okay. What brought you to Faith City Mission?
So my drug addiction, actually, I had hit rock bottom. I had nothing left. And one day I walked into this church in Plainview. It's called Garland Church of Christ, I think that's what it's called. And a lady came and sat next to me. She said, "You have a story to tell." And she's the one that found this place for me.
Okay. And so tell me, just from your experience, why was Faith City, why was it important to you then, and why is it still important to you now?
It was important because I was at my wit's end that my girls got taken away from me, and I had no choice, but it was my only option to get better, to get them back.
Okay. Why is it, because Faith City still plays a role in the life of your family.
It does.
And so why is it important for you to stay connected, you and your husband, to stay connected to Faith City?
One, we're just thankful for what it has done for us in our lives. And two, we want to, maybe we can help somebody share what we went through, what it's done for us, to help them in their journey.
Yeah. So share with the people tonight, what is it, you've been a student,
Yes.
you've been an employee at Faith City, now you're working at the bank,
Yes.
but yet you're still connected. What is your role now with Faith City? What are you doing?
I actually mentor one girl.
Yeah. And so in mentoring that, you get to teach her the lessons that were taught to you, help her navigate some of the things that she's not gone through, but you have.
Yes.
You've been there, and so you can do that. What is it that you think, now that you've graduated the program, you've reestablished your life, you're married now, you've got a home, you've got a career, what is it that you feel is unique about the programs at Faith City Mission?
One, you can come as you are with all your baggage, and they help you to work through that stuff, to heal from some of the traumas or things that you've went in your life, to deal with those that have caused you to be in the position that you were.
Yeah. Just meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me, what is the one thing from your time in homelessness, drug addiction till now? What is the one lesson you've learned in that that you hold on to that you utilize even today?
Having compassion. You really never know what a person is going through.
Yeah, compassion is huge. I was sharing earlier with one of our guests is that wherever Jesus went, before there was a miracle, before there was ministry, it said that he had great compassion on the people. And I think compassion really has to be the forefront of why we do what we do. You've got to meet people where they are. You've got to be compassionate to understand. I don't know what your day looked like. I don't know why you're in a sense acting out. I don't know. And so to try to meet you where you're at and be, empathy and some understanding in that, I think is vitally important. Why do you feel like the resources like Faith City and the different ones that focus on taking care of the homeless, why do you feel like they're important to the Amarillo area?
Because we want to be like Jesus. We want to help the people because he went out all through the world to help, just to meet the people where they're at.
Yeah. And so if there was one thing that you could share with everybody that's tuning in right now, that you could look at them and say, here's why Faith City is important. Here's why these programs are important. What's the one thing you would share with them from your experience?
That has changed my life. I never would have thought that I would be where I am today had I not come here.
So give us a snapshot. What does your life look like now?
I have a bachelor's degree. I have a job that has insurance, what I never thought I would have. I got one of my kids back. I'm even in one of my other child's life who I gave up for adoption. Just restoration, and he's just giving me back what I've lost.
Yeah. And so if you didn't catch what she said, she has a bachelor's degree. One of the things we discussed the other day was when Holly worked here as an employee, I had come on here and she worked the front desk for us part-time, and I cannot remember a time when she was employed here that she was not sitting down there doing homework.
Okay.
And some days were better than others. Some days she had a smile on her face. Some days not so much. But one of the things I've always appreciated about you, Holly, is watching you during that time is your diligence. You were diligent in finishing what you started, even when it was hard. And even now, you're not necessarily in that field, but we discussed you're using some of those lessons where you're at now. But now you have the opportunity. You're helping people, but in another way at the bank. You're helping people navigate different parts of life, and to see you do that now, in 2018, that wasn't on the horizon.
No.
That wasn't even a possibility. And now, look at where you're at. And so, I'm super proud of you on what you've accomplished.
Thanks.
And how you're growing, and to see you, to see your life, how it has unfolded. I know it's not perfect. I know it's not easy all the time, but I know that it has taken a new trajectory, and I see you utilizing the tools. And so, how important is that to you? The tools that you were given here.
It's very important because it's shown me who I am, and how I can utilize that to be aware of situations or things that come up. But it's shown me that I have this determination not to give up.
Yeah, and that's the key. When all had fallen apart, and you found your place with no hope, no direction, somebody helped you get on your feet and get pointed in a direction, and you didn't give up. And I think that's the key that many of us need to remember. It was just one or two opportunities that were given to Holly to completely change her life. And now she's a testament of that, a short time ago. 2018 was not that long ago.
Yeah.
But to be in a homeless situation and then now to be working at a bank with a family and to be restored is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And so I honor you. I love you.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you and all you're doing. And just keep moving forward.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Don't move so fast. It's your turn to be.
Hey man, that all right. Well, it is my honor, which every interview has been an honor for me. But this is Dr. Shane Hand. Been a friend of mine for a few years prior to me coming here. He is our board president at Faith City, and so it is a privilege to have him to be able to come and sit with us. He's one of our sponsors, him and his wife. They are fantastic
Thank you,
people and
Pastor.
great they're just great partners. And so, Shane, I just wanted to kind of ask, you've been with Faith City a long time.
2007.
2007.
It's 18 years.
18 years.
Yeah.
And so what is it, I asked Paula this earlier, she was my very first interview. What is it about Faith City, one, that grabbed your heart that you even wanted to be involved? And number two, that has kept you? I mean, you've been
it's been a long time.
committed, you've not been a casual person. I mean, you're in the mix of this thing with us.
Yeah.
And so what was it that grabbed your heart that said, man, that's a place I want to be partnered with, and what has kept you?
Originally, the previous director, Jenna Taylor, was the one who invited me to come, and she said, I think you'd be a great board member. And so I came, and I didn't really know what Faith City was. I honestly thought that Faith City was a soup kitchen, like everyone thinks Faith City is. And when I got here and found out the numerous programs that we do, and it's more than a soup kitchen. We preach the gospel here. People get saved and they get healed, and they get delivered and they get all their needs met. And there's a recovery program. And I was like, man, I want to be a part of something that is the hands and feet of Jesus. And it gives me chills just saying it, because we don't all get to do that, but if we can partner with somebody who does, then that's why I've stayed, is because there's fruit on this tree. Faith City's been here since 1951. That's 74 years this year. 1951, Reverend Dick and Dee Hogan started this thing in Amarillo, and I just feel like I'm supposed to help and keep this thing going. That's exactly right.
So I know in 18 years you've seen a lot. You've seen a lot of good.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of bad. What is one of the, I've asked this to just about everybody that's been involved. What is one story that you think comes to mind and you're like, man, that is a life that you saw them come in at the beginning and you saw their life transform, they're still doing well. And when you think about that, it brings a sense of satisfaction, a sense of joy, and it reminds you that's why we do what we do every single day.
Holly's one of them that was just here.
Yeah.
I remember seeing her when she first came, and Bill Shaw probably comes to my mind.
Yeah.
And I was here when he first started, and I just remember how Bill was, and just to see him grow and what he's done and the man he's become, the mighty man of God, and the success he's had.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I can say that makes me happy. And there's a lot of success stories. We could sit here all night and talk about them. And it's the ones that give up, or the ones that decide they can't stay, that breaks your heart.
Yeah.
But those two right there, and I know there's success stories every week, and I feel like we're becoming more successful as time goes on.
Yeah. I think for me, my favorite, hands down favorite experience I've had here was last year. We opened up our women's emergency shelter.
Yep.
And we started sheltering women, and we had a young girl that was coming in. Her name was Heaven, and Heaven was, she was drug addicted. She was homeless. while she was out on the street, found out she was pregnant.
Yep.
And our guys at the front door, full of compassion, started talking to her. She'd come in to eat, she'd come to stay, and they started talking to her about, hey, we've got a program that can help you.
Yeah.
And, Heaven entered our program, early 20s. She's a baby. And when she came into the program, she had her baby while she was here.
That's amazing.
And just, we watched her go from this broken, hopeless individual that had been living out on the streets, scared to death for her life, to come and we watched her completely transform, had this child, became a phenomenal mother,
Yes.
and to restore with her family in Idaho or in
Yeah.
Iowa, to be able to go back and live with her mom and her grandparents who prepared a place for her.
Yeah.
And we hear from her even now, thriving on the other end of that. And when the days are hard and you see one that, man, you couldn't reach, or they disappeared, or whatever it may be, or the ones that stay in the cycle of brokenness, and you're like, man, if I could just help them, and you do feel like you may want to give up, and then you
Yeah.
think about, Heaven or Bill or Rodney and all these success stories we've seen. That for me
pretty
is what
crazy.
keeps me in the saddle.
It's good.
It's seeing the one. If I can see the one life changed,
It's worth it.
it's worth it to dig through all the other with the hope that you'll see it again. And I
So
think
good.
that's the beautiful thing.
That's
You
so
brought up
good.
Bill. One of my first memories here. Now I knew Bill before I came here, but I was the men's manager. Bill was in security, and I love to tell this story. I've only known Bill since he's been at Faith City and he's been living for the Lord. But I had gone out on the front stoop and the guests were coming in, and there were a couple guys talking out there, and one of them said, hey, man, when you go in there, don't mess around. And he said, oh, yeah, why? What's up? He goes, man, you know who's running security? He goes, no. He goes, Billy Shaw is running security. And they go, Billy Shaw goes, the Billy Shaw, so don't mess around. So I go in and I sit down in the security office, and Bill's watching the cameras and diligently doing his job, and I'm sitting back there behind him, and I said, hey, Bill. And he never looks at me. He's like, yeah, what's up? And I said, I got a question. He said, what's that? And I said, who's Billy Shaw? And Bill spun around in that chair, and he looked at me and goes, where'd you hear that? I said, them guys out there said don't mess around here because Billy Shaw is running security. He goes, I've been called that in a long time. He said, that's who I was out in the world. And I thought, I never knew him as that. I've always known him, I make fun, there's a rock band has a song called, Big Bad Bill is Sweet William now, and that's what I tell him. There's Sweet William, but, he's, I never knew him as that, but
Yeah.
people did.
Yeah.
And then for them to see him in that capacity, I think that's important
It's
for people
huge.
to see. Yeah.
That's so huge.
So, what is, for you, why is this important? Why is Faith City important to
Yeah.
the Amarillo and the surrounding area? Why is it important to you?
Man, I want to read a verse to answer that question. This is Matthew 25 and 35. Jesus said, he's talking about prophetic stuff, but he said, I was naked and I clothed you. He said, I was sick and you visited me. I was in prison and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry? When did we feed you? Or thirsty? When did we give you drink? When did you see a stranger and take you in and naked and clothe you? Or when did we see you sick in prison? And the king will answer and say to them, assuredly I say to you, inasmuch as you did to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me.
Yeah.
And so, man, when every single person that comes in here, every guest that comes in here, they're not just clients or guests. They're actually Jesus in disguise.
Yeah.
They're Jesus in disguise, and so that's why that's so important to me, that we take care of so many people in so many different ways.
Yeah, that was one of the things for me when I came here is, I'd heard we have a culture of kindness, but I didn't always see that. And that first 12 months in this role, I was like, we are truly going to be people of kindness.
Yep.
Well, in order to do that, you've got to change the way, one, as a staff, you view one another, but then how do you view your guests? Do you view them as a means to an end? Do you view them as just another meal on account, another bed?
Yeah.
Or do you view them as the son or the daughter of the king?
That's right.
Because if I view them as the son or the daughter of the king, I'm going to view them the way the king views them, and I'm going to honor them, and I'm going to love them, and I'm going to respect them. I'm going to treat them with compassion and tenderness. And I love that Jesus says that when they're asking, when did we ever do that? When you did that to the least of these.
You did it to me.
You did it to me. And I think this type of ministry, for me personally, is the heartbeat of Jesus.
That's right.
I really do.
100%.
And to be able to have people that we're here, boots on the ground, but then to have you guys as our board with counsel and wisdom and covering allows us to do what we do.
Yeah.
Is huge. And what is you've lived in the Amarillo area. I know you're from Freona, but you lived in the Amarillo area a long time.
Yes.
And you've seen outside of here, you have seen homelessness up close.
Yeah.
What is your takeaway? What is the one thing your takeaway? But what do you want the people to know? What is the biggest takeaway that you see in the homeless community that maybe people misunderstand?
It's a good question. For me, it's most people are afraid of the homeless, and they don't want to touch them. They don't want to get close to them. They think they're evil, and they're not evil people. They're just down. And man, just being here and being around people like that, it encourages you. If you ever get around them and get to know them and hear their story,
Yeah.
it's crazy how powerful that is. But I think the majority of people just want to brush homeless people off, but they need our help.
Yeah.
And who else does what we do? There is no one in town that does exactly what we do with
Right.
the excellence that we do. There's great other organizations that help the homeless, but nobody does it the way we do it.
Right.
And it's that attitude of kindness that you spoke of.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Yeah. It has to go beyond just the busyness of the ministry. It has to be.
Yeah.
There really has to be a tangible feeling to say, and these are people. And that's really been the common thread that everybody I've talked to, it's recognizing the humanity of the individual, recognizing to them, that when I look at them, any one of us are literally just a handful of tragic events away
That's right.
of something like that being the
100%.
reality for us. And to be able to look at somebody and say, I've said it several times today, is, man, that's somebody's son or daughter.
Right.
That was somebody's, I look at these faces that come in the building and I'm like, man, that was somebody's baby that they rocked,
That's right.
late hours and early mornings, and they washed their little faces, and now they're out here and they're broken, and their minds are shattered and their bodies are broken and their spirits are they've given up. But to look at them and say, but they have value.
They have value.
They have value to somebody that doesn't even know where they're at, but they have value here.
Yes.
And I think to be able to look at them and say, hey, you're important.
That's what I love about you most, Pastor, is your compassion and your passion for what happens here. There's no one in town that loves these people like you do. You just wear it.
Yeah.
It's all over you.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
love.
powerful.
I
Like-
love I love the downtrodden. I love the ones that society has overlooked, or the outcast, or
yes.
the one that doesn't look like mainstream society. I love them.
Yes.
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 I love to see the ones with the matted hair and the tattoos and the dirt, and look at them and say, man, you're beautiful. God has created
God's
you
got something good for you.
uniquely.
That's it.
And to be able to, even in a moment, just even at lunchtime, we had, Bill and I were talking about this, that there was a gentleman that long before I ever came to work here, or even was volunteering, he went through the program, did well, was living on his own, was working at a local Walmart, and had a heart attack.
Wow.
And everything spun completely out of control, and he found himself homeless again. And
Wow.
we offered the program to him. He said, I don't really think I need the program. I don't. And so we gave him a place to stay. We gave him some food. And then he came in one day, and he grabbed me and Shannon, and he said, hey, I need some clothes.
Wow.
And he said, I need work clothes. And I'm like, really? He goes, man, I got another job at one of the other Walmarts in Amarillo. I start tomorrow, but I've got to have shirts and pants. And I remember
help
sitting,
you.
looking at him
Yeah.
as
come
we're
on.
getting close for him, and him telling me, I haven't had to use the resources at Faith City for a long time, but I'm so thankful you were here.
'Cause
when
when
I
he
needed you,
them. Yes.
You were here. And I'm like, man,
Yes.
so that reminds me, it's important every day for the doors to be open and the meals to
That's
be
right.
prepared, the beds to be ready and clean and sanitary. And, because when somebody does need it,
It's
it's
powerful.
it's a powerful thing.
I think if most people knew what we did like this, if they really knew what we did, they would want to give and help us.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many people that just think we're soup kitchen, and
Yeah.
man, I just encourage you, if you're out there, come by and take a tour sometime of Faith City and see what we do here. Come and visit with Pastor Robert.
Come and see us.
See
Come and have a meal with us.
Yeah.
See how we serve our meals. Not just we don't line people up. We prep that plate. We place it in the place. We serve the homeless guests. We do it just differently. And
Powerful
come and
stuff.
see that and be a part of it.
See that.
And see and come and be the hands and feet of Jesus. I mean, just come and be a part of that. But if there's one thing that you can tell the Amarillo area about the importance of, not just a homeless shelter, but a refuge, a place where people can come. It's safe, it's clean, it's secure.
Yes.
We're well stocked with all the food, the resources we need to meet your physical needs.
Yes.
Tell them why that's important.
Since 1951, Faith City's been feeding the homeless, and to be the hands and feet of Jesus there's got to be somebody boots on the ground, and because Faith City does that so well, I would just dare to say that it's important, because who else is doing that in this town? How many people would have a need that went unmet if Faith City wasn't here? I just really feel like what we've done is good, but there's bigger things to do.
Yes. Well,
And
there's we don't just take care of just our homeless community.
Right.
We take care of our neighborhood around us, even those that might be deemed the working poor. They have a home, they have a job,
They can't afford
they
gas.
need some meals, they need gas, they need a utility paid, and to be able to be here to meet that need, to see in the evening times, this time of the day, to see, single mothers with small children that have walked out of the neighborhood and said, hey, we just need a meal, or we need a backpack for school, or we need to be able to be here and say, hey, we've got what you need.
We've got
It's not just us, it's our community, and it's them giving and volunteering and donating, and we don't do it without them, and we recognize that, and so it's huge.
And so Amarillo is a very generous community.
Yes.
The Panhandle of Texas is a generous place, more so than so many places, and there's so many donors that give faithfully and generously, but we still need more help.
Yeah, there's still more. Well, and there's more that we want to do to reach more people.
That we want to do to reach
we
more
want
people.
to reach more people and offer more resources, and that takes, as it takes funding, and it takes space, and it takes more resources, and so we need those partners, and so if you feel that that's what you want to do, contact us, and we'd love to partner up with you. And Dr. Shane, I appreciate you coming, spending some time. I know they're just kind of quick interviews, but I think it does something for the community to say, hey, and look at these people that are partnered up, and
we love Faith City.
Yeah,
man.
and so I'm just thankful to be, your friend and your partner, and to be able to be here with you, and the board as a whole, man. Just the encouragement that we receive as a staff to stay the course. Hey, don't give up, stay the course. Man, I appreciate that.
Well, you're so welcome, man. Our board is phenomenal. I agree, and we've had some challenges this year, but God has proved faithful, and He will continue to be faithful to Faith City Mission. I'm fully convinced. So I appreciate you too.
So, man, well, thank you.
You're welcome, man. Good to see you.
Hey, brother, I love you.
Love you too.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you soon. Okay.
All right, brother, take
Thank
care.
you.
All right, well, welcome back. We are with Missy. Tell me the name of your nonprofit again.
Arms stretched wide.
Arms Stretched Wide. Not the Creed song. We did establish that. So, Missy, tell us, before we get into some questioning, tell us about you. Tell us about your nonprofit, what you do, and how you came to the realization that that's what you wanted to do with your life.
Well, about 12 years ago, my friend and I started a recovery group at Guy and Saunders, and we just had a passion. We just wanted to just get out. And so we started there and then met Valerie Gooch, and she got us introduced to the park. And I'm grateful to say that Deanna and I started the first class there. And so our heart there really, really evolved and grew for the members. And so it's been just a very beautiful walk of what God has done through me personally. And I was grateful enough to go and work at the park and be on staff for almost 3 years and really get shoulder to shoulder and connect with members and connect with people, not for their circumstances, but who they truly are. And so that's where creation, God started stirring in Deanna and I, and we decided we wanted to do something different. We wanted to get out and empower. And so Arms Stretched Wide is a local nonprofit. We're a baby, but we're a toddler. I'll say we're a toddler. And our focus is our mission statement is inspiring hope with access to mental health awareness wherever you are. And our goal is to empower, educate, and multiply everyday people to walk next to people who are hurting. Because we're all hurting. We're all struggling, and we all need somebody to walk next to us. And that is basically what walking next to somebody who is suffering from homelessness looks like. That's not their identity, it's a circumstance. And we need to start making sure that we speak to them to their true identity and not their circumstance, and call them by name, identity, and make relationships, build relationships, multiply people who can just walk next to other people who are suffering. And the stigma of mental health. The difference between mental health and mental illness is different. We all have mental health.
Yeah.
Mental illness is a diagnosis or where you need professional help, but we all have mental health issues, and sometimes we hurt people by saying the wrong things or not walking in a discernment that does more harm. And our goal is to educate and empower everyday people, so when crisis hit, because crisis will hit in your neighborhood, at your work, wherever, the crisis will hit, and we're putting that pressure on that wound until they heal or until they get to professional help. And then we have a network of resources of professionals that we can get people plugged into. Ideal long-term goal, we would love to do financial assistance, but right now, finances, we have to do it in phases. So eventually we'd like to do financial assistance, because it breaks our hearts when people can't get into counseling because they can't afford it.
Right.
And we have a ton of professionals that are very good at their jobs that can't do it for free.
And that's the reality. There's a bit of a misconception with us that there's some out there that say that those that have a mental health concern, that we turn them away, and that is not the case. If we have those that have a certain diagnoses, we have to find them another resource other than our programs, because our programs are structured a certain kind of way, and we're not staffed nor educated for that type of care. But everybody that comes to our door can receive the services we offer. But it does take us knowing that there are people that we can call and say, hey, this is what I've got, point me in a direction. We'll do the leg room or the legwork, just point us in a direction, who we talk to.
Right.
And I think it's vitally important for all of the groups, especially the ones that are focused on ministry to the homeless population, to be able to say, hey, there's a resource, there's somebody we can call. And so what you're doing really does kind of bridge a gap that has been left, in my opinion, has been left uncovered for a long time.
Our goal is to empower and educate the ones that are walking next to. So if your ministry walks next to somebody who is suffering from homelessness, we're empowering you to, at that point, you don't even need to worry about a diagnosis. You just need to love them. And sometimes love means saying no. Sometimes love means having a conversation with them. Sometimes just being present is so key, because they lose their identity. They become, nobody makes eye contact with them anymore.
Right. Yeah.
And so instead of being scared of a diagnosis or scared of their circumstance that they might be acting out, how to love them, how to walk next to them in kindness and compassion, because they're in survival mode. Yeah. We have a mental health issue. We can go home and have a quietness, shut down the day. They can't. They're dorm living, they're on the streets, and they're in survival mode. So their mental health is in survival mode.
Yeah, all the time.
And so to offer places for them to go and get some peace, a good night's sleep, and just everyday people understanding that just because somebody acts a certain way or has a diagnosis, that's not who they are.
Right.
There's so much more to them than what identity that they're carrying, and their identity is from God, not from the circumstances or an illness.
Yeah, so many of them, they walk under the banner of whatever a medical diagnosis is or their situation they're currently in, when the reality of it is, you know, they're formed in the image of God. And so therefore that means that we need to meet them that way.
Right, meet them where they're at.
Yeah, and I know sometimes it's difficult, but I know for us here, you know, there are things that we do and we do them very, very, very well. But then there's areas where I'm like, what's the next step? What can we do to get that individual in a space to where they can be mentally stable? Because sometimes and I'm not anti-medication, but I'm just saying, sometimes we medicate something when really what they needed was a safe space.
Right.
They needed somebody.
They need to be
say,
seen. They needed to be valued. They need to be heard.
That was one, and we do that here, and I love that. And I had Terry from the park was here earlier, and that was, you know, of course, such a tender heart towards the Lord and people. But one of the things I appreciated was that something we try to practice here is, you know, when our members come in, I love that verbiage, but he said whenever our members come in, we call them by name.
Yep.
And we look them in their eyes, and I think it's vital. I know for me, when I'm struggling, and we're all struggling, you know, at times, when I'm struggling mentally, emotionally, physically, relationally, whatever it may be, it's for somebody to look at me, call me by name, look me in the face, and reassure me, hey, you're going to be okay, and here's why you're going to be okay.
I'm here.
Yeah,
Presence.
and you're not alone in it.
Yep,
and
presence.
I think that presence and that interaction is important. Because I know for me, I can go home, I can sit in my pickup, I can go wherever. I'm not out there in survival mode, but there's still the times where I need somebody to look at me and say, you're going to be okay.
Right.
Let's take a breath, slow down, take a breath, and let's plan the next step.
And I think too is they have this guard up, and you build a relationship with them, and eventually that guard goes down, and you learn and understand and hear them and see them, because a lot of times their next step is so far away that they're overwhelmed and they freeze. Yeah. So break it down a little bit and say, okay, your next step is, okay, you tangible goals, and just walk next to them, and then whenever they fail, you greet them with love and grace. I had a gentleman at the park that came up, and he said, you know, he made a derogatory thing like, hey, you're sexy. And I said, and my face says it all, and I said, you don't speak like that to a woman. And he said, well, the girls out on the streets like it. And I said, well, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not how you speak to a woman. And before I got offended, I said, let's make this a teaching moment. What were you trying to say? And he said, I was going to tell you were beautiful. And I said, well, I'm grateful for that. Thank you. But sometimes that can be we don't have the relationship.
Yeah.
To hear that could be offensive to me. And I said, what else were you trying to say? And he was like, I like your style. I like your shoes. I'm like, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
I did not come back and beat him while he was down because he knew my face was offended.
Yeah.
And I took it as a teaching moment, just taking that moment and having a teachable moment with love and grace. You know, I can see him now, and he knows what is acceptable to talk to a woman, and a lot of times they lose some of that because it's so gruff and the way they talk on the streets, but they know me, and if I'm at the park, they know me, and they know not to cuss around me, not to say derogatory things, not to touch each other. Like I go back and I volunteer now, even after being on staff. I go and volunteer now, and just the other day I walked in their new beautiful building.
Yes, it's fantastic.
And I walked in and I couldn't take myself out of the room. I was like, keep your hands to yourself. You know, you guys are grown men, you know, because they were just ruffling up each other and holding each other back. And I was just like, you guys are grown men.
Yeah.
Don't, you know, this isn't the place for it. And I looked at the staff and I said, I'm so sorry. I can't take myself out of this room. And they were like, nope, we want you. So
yeah, well, and you, in that time there, you built
a relationship to where I could
and that's
approach
the
them
thing
that way.
I've learned in my time here. I've been here, you know, I started as a volunteer, and then I came to work here in 20. One of the things I learned was, you know, when we have a guest that is acting outside of themselves, I need to probably look at the situation, and then, you know, I need to find somebody that's been around, Miss Shannon, Bill, somebody that has been here for a minute that they recognize and say, hey, I've got a situation, because they will respond differently to somebody that they know versus me as a stranger. And I had to learn that I couldn't just snap my finger, hey, we're not doing that in here. But to say, hey, let me get somebody to come alongside. And I really feel like in the last couple of years, that flow for us has improved.
It takes a team.
It does.
It takes a team, because certain people just connect. You know, Valerie to this day will like, oh my gosh, one day a member came in and you connected with them so well, I wished you were here. And you know, and then there's members that walk in the door and I probably, you know, I wouldn't connect with them.
Yeah.
So it takes truly a team approach to handle we're called for community. We're called to be a church body, and you know, everybody talks about hands and feet. We do need hands and feet, but we need eyes, we need ears, we need the whole body to work together.
Yes.
And some people are the hands and feet, and that's great. And especially whenever you're trying to find volunteers, and they have the heart. We have, you know, they want to be involved, but they don't know how to be involved.
Yeah.
And they only see the hands and feet sometimes.
Yeah.
And I promise you, if they are called to your ministry, there's a place for them. And that is one of the things that I love, is working with volunteers and empowering that, and letting them grow in their strength. To see them bless your ministry abundantly by them walking in their strength. Because if they're just doing something because that's what everybody does with people who are suffering from homelessness. You hand them a food, you do this, but to sit and have a conversation with them, get to know them, you know, financially, you know, they're all different kinds of ways of volunteering. And I love seeing people come together and truly step in their strength, love the ministry, and your ministry is blessed.
Yeah. So that brings me to my next question with you. With that being said, the unity and the partnership, why do you feel that, you know, for me, when I started moving into the role as the director I took over in January 24. One of the things that I wanted to do, and I had already started the process, was I wanted to reconnect. I wanted to reconnect with those that were helping the people that we help. The PRC, Gon Sanders, different ones. Going down and making connections, having conversations, because for me, unity is vitally important. And so, what is your thought, with that unity in mind, why is it important to you to see, Faith City, Transformation Park, Guy Sanders, Salvation Army, the Park, your ministry partnering together, not in competition,
Right.
but partnered together and saying, hey, we do this, you do that.
Yep.
How can I assist you? How can you assist me? And how can we help the people?
Right.
Why do you feel like that is important?
It takes a village.
It takes a village, yeah.
It takes a village. It takes all these ministries do very specific things.
Yeah.
And do that well.
Yeah.
So we partnering together, we're just bridging that gap.
Yeah.
I don't know where or why competition or silos and islands started. I don't know, but that when you guys opened up the women's shelter,
Yes.
oh my gosh, one of the members was like one of the first ones there, and she just was like, it's so clean and it's so beautiful, to have that opportunity and have another option.
Yeah. Have you seen the women's overnight?
I have not. I'm
You need
supposed to be getting
yeah.
a tour.
You need to get with Heidi and Macy and
Yes.
come, not just the whole building, but
Yes.
just the way that we do, especially the women's night
Yes.
overnight. That is, it's vitally important. You're housing women, single bed women, but you're also housing women and their children.
And it's important.
Yeah,
and
they need to know they're safe. And so,
Yeah.
please come and see that. That for me, that was really the very first major project that I was involved in. I took that, Jenna was still here. She and I worked together on it. She handed that off. I worked with the board very diligently. I worked with the contractors on that. That was really the very first thing that I saw, from the groundbreaking to the ribbon cutting, that I saw all the way through. And then to come back in, we've been open a year, and to come back in and to hear the stories of the women coming in and saying, I'm thankful I have a place. And the reality of it is, we talk about this all the time, there is no possible way that we can house every woman that needs a bed. We can't house every man that needs a bed, but we can do our part.
Right.
And I think as long as we do our part well,
Right.
and we do it with excellence, we do it with integrity, and we do it with generosity and kindness, and then we look across the aisle and say, okay, they're doing this as well, or they're doing this, which would complement what we're doing, and to reach out. I think it's important.
It has to happen.
It's got to be.
If we want to all be successful and work in unity for people who are suffering from homelessness, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who need to be successful. They are the ones that matter, and we can't lose sight of the person and the relationship and the people, because they are chosen too.
They're the treasure to me.
Yes.
In every aspect, the people are the treasure. And when I look at, when I see what goes on in our city, twofold. One, those that really are saying, hey, I've got a heart, whether it be us, Transformation Park, you guys, or just the ones that are coming out from a church group that are bringing sack lunches. They're saying, I have a heart for these people. Those people are the treasure. They have value, and they need to know they have value, and they need to know that somebody cares enough to bring them a sandwich.
And arms stretched wide, that's where our heart and our passion is we want to empower the ones that are going to be out on the front lines.
Yes.
We have so many people that get burned out. We have so many people that have passions that don't know how to ignite it. Yeah. And we want to come alongside and train and empower and equip people, so when they're out there handing out sandwiches, they are equipped and empowered to interact with people that are unlovable sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, they can be unlovable, but I promise you, once that guard starts coming down and you start seeing them for who they truly are, not their circumstance. I mean, I'm not called out for my circumstances.
Right. Exactly.
I don't live in my circumstances, and I don't want people to put that on anybody.
And we're not defined by the worst moment of our
right.
life. And I think
and we meet
this,
them at the worst moment of their life
sometimes. And I think sometimes in this arena, we get a preconceived notion of somebody. We see them at their absolute worst.
And we judge.
And then we judge, and then that's it. They can never change our mind again. And I don't think that's fair.
Nope.
And then on the other side, you have those that they go by and they see those in homelessness, and they turn their eye away from it, and they're like, they're they're lazy or they're whatever.
Right.
And it's such a misconception of, man, they've got a story. Well, let's find out why. Because I've learned, I don't know if if you look at the story, 9 times out of 10, you can find, if you'll listen, you can find the vein that got them there.
Right.
Which then usually you can trace back and say, hey, are you willing to do this? Because I think if we can get you to do this, we can get you back.
Right. And that's the key point is they have to be willing.
Yeah.
You can't force somebody into recovery.
Yeah.
They can be forced to go to recovery, but is it going to be successful?
Yeah.
We can't fix anybody. We
Yeah.
can walk beside them.
That's it.
We can encourage them. We can guide them. But when we put our own expectations on what we expect
Yeah.
them to be successful, some days just them coming here and being safe is a successful
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
So we take those successes and make them way big when we need to be walking with them gradually in those successes.
Yeah.
Because-
We had a couple gentlemen that stayed for months. They slept in the parking lot across from us. They would come eat, but they would not stay here. Well, then it got hot, and they came in for day room, and then they would go back out, and then they would come back a little longer for day room until they started coming in, and they would stay.
They had to figure you out.
Yeah, they had to figure us out, and we didn't. We weren't
Yeah.
like, why are you not staying here?
Right.
You know, a little at a time, and then you see them come in, and after a few nights of them having a clean place to sleep, food in their belly, their whole demeanor changed, and then you start seeing them, even the way they flowed across the street was different.
Yeah.
There was life again,
Right.
and
It gives people hope.
yes,
And-
I think people
And
we all need hope.
We all need hope. We all need encouragement, and we all need to work together as a community because we can't. It takes a village. Like I've always said, it takes a village, and somebody will connect. There's somebody that will connect with somebody.
Well, I would love to have you come
Yes,
and visit with our staff.
I would love
Share
to
some
come
stuff
visit.
that I
Yes.
think would be very informative for us. You know, there's just some things that I want us to try to do better.
Yeah.
I think we do good, but there's some areas that I feel like we can improve in, and that's connecting with somebody else that's already, hey,
Yeah.
let's look at it this way.
And we go from the top down because we want to multiply. We
Yeah.
want to start with the leadership, and then we want to go down to
Yes.
the top down because there's only 2 of us right now
Right.
and a wonderful board, but to multiply, it can't be through us.
Yeah.
It's the multiplication is through community.
It's
based.
equipping.
Yep.
And that's really that's the kingdom concept
Yep.
of Scripture is to reproduce. So Paul said to Timothy, "Hey, take the lessons I've taught you to other faithful men." Paul isn't saying, "Hey, let's work together." He's saying, "Let me train you. Now you go." And I think that's even from our program. I love that it is a discipleship, and we're coming alongside that will do it. The ones that'll do it, training them, giving them tools, giving them resources, and then the only thing we ask in return is you utilize your tools for yourself and then take them to somebody else.
Right.
Because there's somebody that I'll never sit in front of that you will. You can teach them the lesson that you've learned to help them navigate to the next level. I don't think we ever eliminate homelessness. I think it will always be around. But I think if we do our part, I think we can alleviate
Right.
some of it.
And we want to support the people like your staff.
Yeah.
You know, people are called to this specifically, and we want to keep them in their calling and not get burned out, not get overwhelmed, because hearing what you hear on a day-to-day basis is heavy. And how do you process it? How are you healthy? And so that's where our encouragement is the healthier you are, the healthier your mission is.
Absolutely. You know, we do say it all the time amongst our staff. This is not a job. You're not employed here. You're called here.
Right.
And it takes a certain gifting and a certain heart,
Yes.
a certain commitment to say, truthfully, here I am.
Right.
Send me.
And we want to keep you guys there.
Yeah,
So
and-
take care of
and-
yourself.
And I want to stay there.
Yeah.
I love it. You know,
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, between this and I do pastor a church away from here, but, you know, I feel like between the two, I've found my purpose. I found why I was created. And I think when you figure that out, then you are very proactive in making sure you take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, and physically,
Yes.
so that you can stay the long haul.
Right, because
see
it
the
is a marathon.
Yes,
It is not a sprint.
Right.
And we have a lot of people in ministries getting burned out. And I
I-
don't want that. I want you guys 100% because your mission will be 100%.
well, I thank you
Yeah.
for what you're doing. Thank you for coming.
Yes.
I'm so excited
Thank
to.
you for having me.
Yeah, we're making great connections. I know that we're doing this live. I don't know if they shared with you. This is it's National Homeless Awareness Day, and we have partnered through Citygate with 100 other missions across the
Love it.
nation that are doing this very thing at the very same time.
Very cool.
Started with Fresno Rescue Mission, which is actually pretty cool to me that I'm doing this. My great uncle actually volunteered at Fresno Rescue Mission from the late 50s up until he passed away in 2018. And to be able to be a part of this now with the very people that he
Honoring.
did, I can't be more pleased. And so I thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom, and thank you for what you're doing to help this community of people that are marginalized and overlooked so many times. But to be able to say, hey, we see you.
Yep.
You're not forgotten. We see you, and we're helping. And so I thank you for that.
You're very
And I
welcome.
bless you, and I bless
Oh,
your
thank you.
ministry. And I can't wait to have you come and
Yes.
and tour, but
Yes.
then come and visit with our. We'll set up a time we'll get all of our staff together and have you guys come and just kind of share what you're doing, share some practical things that maybe will help us pretty quickly.
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. All right, well,
Are we good?
we're good. Yeah. What we do in life echoes in eternity. For more than 70 years now, Faith City Mission has stood as a place of hope and renewal, dedicated to serving those in need by providing food, clothing, shelter, and the love of Christ. From our humble beginnings until today, we continue to faithfully steward the resources entrusted to us, making a meaningful impact in our community and beyond for His glory. It all started in 1951 with Dick and B. Hogan. At the core, the mission has never changed. Today, more than 50 men and women are thriving through our discipleship programs. 24-year-old Nicoya is 6 months in, and the most important part of her life is her relationship with Christ.
I'm in the Esther's House program, and there's 3 phases of it. There's foundations, rebuilders, and transition.
Nicoya and other women in the program lead a structured life, and it's all part of the plan.
And that's top priority here, to make you feel safe, protected, and full so that you can be in the sound mind so that you can get that third part, the Christ. If you're worried about your basic necessities not being met, then it's harder for you to really focus on Christ, which really matters.
As part of her discipleship, Nicoya, like the other students at Faith City Mission, spends several hours each week completing chores.
So we go out to Mission Ranch and we clean on Mondays. And at first I was like, I don't want to do that. But the more that I do it, it feels amazing to give back the way that I do it. I'm doing it unto Christ, not unto myself.
And her smile is a reflection of the light that's filled her life, far from the darkness that once enveloped her.
I tried to find comfort in alcohol, and it's a false comfort. I became an alcoholic, and I ran my life into the ground. I couldn't do it on my own anymore, so I came here.
And it's here where in 2024, more than 73,000 meals were served. 2,400 pieces of clothing were dispersed. And it's here where we offered more than 7,000 warm showers and safe nights to all those men, women, and children that stayed at the shelter. But our mission goes beyond meeting physical needs. It's about life-changing spiritual transformation. Last year, over 120 individuals like Rodney committed their lives to Christ.
I'm not gonna say from the moment I got there, but early on, my heart just started changing. And I think they took me to church. The Lord did the rest.
Today, Rodney works at Noble Cabinets, using his hands to create something he never once imagined possible. The California native is far removed from his previous life.
I'd never worked in my life. I joined the gang at 11 years old. I pretty much ran with the gang and sold drugs my whole adult life. Never even thought I wanted a job. Pretty much misinformed about society. Accountability was foreign to me.
Rodney is the perfect example of how God changes lives and the power of redemption.
At 16 years old, I was certified as an adult. And I was sentenced to 40 years in TDC. I ended up spending 23 years. I got out of prison at 39. I did what I always did. I immediately started selling drugs. I went back to prison. When I got out of there, they actually drove me to downtown Amarillo and just dropped me off at the bus stop. I had about $1,500 in my pocket, and I just assumed that I would, sell drugs and get in touch with old friends again.
That pattern changed when a friend led Rodney to Faith City Mission, and the rest is history.
I'm not gonna say that it was easy, but it was fulfilling, and the people around there, they just refused to let me give up and fail. So every time I would think about leaving, someone would just pour into me. So I stuck it out, and within months, I knew my life was changed. It's crazy because you spend your whole life believing one thing. I just realized that all the things I thought I knew were false. I think the biggest revelation was knowing that it wasn't about just dying and going to heaven. It was about right now.
That long-term transformation through discipleship Rodney's talking about takes a year through our program called Hope for Men.
All those things that carried me through that year, I try to do today, and it works.
And so the mission of our founding fathers continues. As it says in Matthew 25:40, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me. Through our Lord's blessing, we have expanded our territory several times throughout the years, from a one-room building in the beautiful Mission Ranch. We know He isn't done growing us because there are many others still needing our help. Every life we touch creates a ripple effect, impacting not just the individual, but the generations to come.
It is worth it to come here. Whatever you're holding on to, let it die, because you will find new life when you come here. You will blossom. I'm telling you, the end result is amazing, and I'm only halfway done.
This time next year, Nicoya hopes to begin a new chapter in her life by attending college, and you better believe she'll be smiling. In a world of such uncertainty, we know that the path before us is lit by compassion, guided by faith, and strengthened by every hand willing to help.
My joy in life is my family, my wife, my dog, my church. I go by the mission a lot now, at least 2 or 3 days a week. I had told myself and I told them when I graduated the program that my gratitude and my thank you would be my walk in life. Just to be present, just so the guys that's coming through there can see what the end game looks like. I guess that's it. Oh, my bad. Dallas Cowboys.
When we lift others, we rise together. Every act of generosity becomes a seed of transformation. Join us in shaping a legacy of hope, where love in action echoes through generations. lights as bright as the sun.
Yeah, I know.
All right, are we live? All right, well, I'm here with Michelle Russell from the hometown, her thriving metropolis of Pampa, Texas, now of Amarillo. Michelle is a graduate of our, what used to be the Hope for Women program. So Michelle, I want you to share a little bit of your story of, there's some things I don't even know. I know a lot about you, but there's some things I don't know. What was your situation and how did you find yourself at Faith City Mission?
Okay, so it was in 2013. I was way lost in addiction, very deep in addiction. I had lost my grandson, had no contact with any of my family. I was not homeless, but I was living in a home with no electricity, no water, no gas, no anything, called water from the park. And I knew I was searching for recovery, but I knew nothing about any recovery programs here. And someone had left a little card on my dresser in my bedroom with Faith City on it with a handwritten number on the back of it. So about 2 weeks later, I thought I would call and find out what this place was about, and found out it was a recovery center, and made a phone call, and of course visited with at that time it was Miss Pam, and told her I needed to pray about it because I didn't realize it was a year program and wasn't sure I was ready for that. But then I prayed about it and packed my bags as soon as I hung up the phone from her, actually. And about a week later, I called and spoke with Miss Shannon, and Miss Shannon told me to come the next day. And I came over here and I joined the program, and it was a year-long program. I started 12/11 of 13 is actually my sobriety date. I graduated the program in December of 14. What I can say about Faith City is that it was a place that God brought me to, that I could fall apart, and He picked me back up and put me back together in a relationship with Him, because I sure did not know anything about Him.
Yeah.
I mean, I did, but not on that level. So
Not like you do now.
not like I do now.
And so while you were here, you got the tools, you got the things. What was that experience like for you coming in? Because our, not just our program, but our entire mission is very structured. We do things. There's a certain way we do it. What was that experience like for you coming in from the lifestyle that you were in, to coming in here to the structure that we have?
It was very hard because as addicts, the rules don't apply to us. Laws don't apply to us. Nothing applies to us. And so it was very, very hard at first. And to learn the word accountability was the biggest thing. To be held accountable by people and to humble yourself to that. And it became just a way of life. And now it's still a way of life. So,
Right.
So those rules are put in place for the safety of the students in the program, or anyone who comes through these doors, whether it's a guest or they're there for the safety of everyone. And so we just have to learn to realize that, to adapt to them, and realize that we need those put in place for us.
Yeah. So now your role with Faith City has changed, and so tell us now, what are you doing with Faith City now?
So I started kind of as just volunteering, come up here and work in the kitchen some. And then I just through Celebrate Recovery, I met a lot of the girls after I had been out for a while. And I had one girl approach me about sponsoring her. And of course, the first thing you want to say is, I can't do that.
Right.
And God told me differently that was what He had intended for me, is to come back here and give back what was given to me. The tools of recovery through a faith-based program.
Yeah.
There's many programs, but I chose Celebrate Recovery. So I've probably sponsored about 10 girls now, and so I have 2 more that I'm working with right now.
Yeah.
And
And so you're a regular fixture here.
I'm a regular fixture.
But also one of the things that early on when I came here that you were at the forefront of, that you saw a need was, when a lot of our, our students have come out of that homeless situation, there's medical needs that have to be taken care of. And one of those that you saw was through eye care. And through the place that you were working, you set us up with them to get eye care for those that were coming into the program to help them take care of some things. And since then, we've had other people come through that have helped us get dental care and medical care. And we still, even though you've moved on to another place, but we still have that resource to help somebody, because it's amazing how even something as simple as somebody being able to read their Genesis book, their Matrix book, whatever, to be able to read those resources while they're in the program, to be able to say, hey, we got you, let's get you some glasses so you can see. It's life-changing, and it's just another way that you've been able to look back and say, okay, it's just one more way for me to help. And, it's been a beautiful thing. And so what do you feel for you? Why is Faith City important? Why do you feel like it's important to you personally? But why do you feel that it's important to the Panhandle? Because one of the things I do know, and I'll share this real quickly, is in my time here, there has not been one person who has been a bigger advocate and has brought more people to Faith City for resources, the program, to get help in many different ways than Michelle has. I've lost count of how many people, just since 2020 when I came here, she has single-handedly brought to the door and said, I found this individual, I knew this individual, they need help. And so that's been huge. But why is this, to you personally, why is it important for Faith City to exist, what we do, and why do you feel like it's important to the Panhandle, Amarillo and surrounding areas?
Well, first of all, I know how it was important to me. I was, like I said, at the bottom, and I had no place else to turn. And when I realized that it was a faith-based program, that was the first thing that really, struck me, because I knew that that's what I needed. Recovery's not possible without the Lord.
Yeah.
And just to come here and have every resource that you need, from a place to sleep with warm blankets, with clothing, through the what do y'all call
Sorting.
it now? The sorting,
Yeah,
still
sorting
sorting.
department.
Okay, so to go to the sorting department and have clothes, I came with one suitcase, and when I left here, I had everything that I needed to even furnish a home, my first apartment that I had.
Yeah.
It's just a place for people to feel safe and to feel secure and get the tools that they need. It's for them to find God. It's a place for them to, again, have their meals, and it's everything. Faith City was everything to me, and so I want it to be everything for someone else, and that's why I keep coming back here, and that's why I keep bringing people here.
Absolutely. Is there a, let's talk from the aspect, we're talking a lot about homelessness, but is there the question normally is there a misconception that you believe that society has in homelessness? But I want to change it just a little bit. What is one misconception that you think that people have towards those that may be out there, homeless or not, with a drug addiction? That that society has a preconceived notion about that individual?
First of all, I think a lot of people seem to think that addiction is a choice that bad people make.
Yeah.
And we're not bad people. Bad things happened. And yes, maybe that first time you took, it was a choice. But it becomes, the addiction sets in, and it's something you can't. And so I believe that people think that we have a choice to stop, that we have a choice that we're making. And I would just like people to know that we were normal people just like everyone else.
Yeah.
And bad things happened to us, and we chose to medicate in a way because we didn't know the Lord.
Yeah.
We had that hole that was missing then we filled it with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
And so I just think they think we're bad people, and people are afraid of us. They're afraid of us. They're afraid, that we're gonna hurt them, and I mean we do, our families, but we're not bad people.
Bill Shaw and I talk all the time about how, when you're little and you're growing up, we didn't know one kid, everybody wanted to be a fireman or a police officer or a cowboy. Nobody was in elementary school right now. What do you want to be? I want to be a drug addict.
Yeah.
That's not your life's ambition.
No.
But because of the traumas and the things that have taken place that got you in a situation, you're self-medicating because that's all you know. And that's why it's important for, even though Faith City is a rescue mission, it's a homeless shelter. I think one of the things that we do well are the recovery programs. We do bring a lot of people out of the homeless community, but it's not just teaching society, hey, they're not bad people, but teaching them, you're not bad. You've made some questionable choices, but why did you make the choices you made? There was something that fueled that. There was a trauma, there was abuse, there were those things that, you were helpless and hopeless in a situation, and that was the open door. And I agree wholeheartedly. I think the misconception is that it's just bad people doing bad things, and it's really not the case.
No.
It's really not the case.
No, it's not at all. I was raised in a good home.
Yeah.
Nobody would have ever.
Yeah,
It's like that.
people would be amazed at how many, we think that, homelessness and drug addiction and sometimes they're a byproduct of our upbringing, but so many are either homeless or drug addicted and lost, and they had really great structure around them. They were loved well, they were trained well, but one or two things changed the trajectory of their life. And before they knew it, I know in my own life, what was just a little bit here, and then by the time I was in my early 20s, it was like, how did I get here? And I don't know how to get out of this. I don't know how to break this addiction. I don't know. And now you're just you're stuck in that cycle. And for me, places like this that do offer those type of options for a recovery program are vital to helping people not just become sober, but to even change their lives, get out of the homeless population, get into a structured environment to revamp who they are. I think it's important to us. And so if there's one thing that you want the Amarillo and the surrounding areas to know about Faith City and what it's meant to you and why it's important, what's the one thing that you would look at them and say, this is why Faith City is important?
Gosh, there's many. First of all, like I said, the fact that it's a safe place. Everybody needs a safe place. Everybody deserves a safe place. Everybody deserves to have food in their stomach. Everybody deserves to have a place to lay their head down at night. I believe that without Faith City here in Amarillo, the homeless population would be astounding. I know there's still so many out there. It's, spread all over Amarillo, but if you could just go and bring them all in and give them that safe place like y'all have to offer here, it's just a great thing.
Everybody we have a handful of basic needs. We need food, we need shelter, we need clothing, and we need security.
And we need love.
And we do
y'all
need
give,
love.
And y'all give
Yes,
love here.
That's vital to what we do. Paul says, if I speak with the tongues of angels and I give my life at the stake and I do all these things, but I have not love, I'm nothing more than a clanging cymbal or gong, and my life means nothing. And I think as long as we keep and it's not, in the Greek, there's several different descriptions of love in the Bible, but it's that agape love. It's that unconditional, I love you where you are, with the hope that you will rise up out of where you're at. And I really think that, if you're compassionate and you're loving and you're kind, and then you present, here's another way, I really think that most people will rise to that. It's just getting them to realize you have value. You have value.
We don't know our identity.
Right. We don't know. And you know, for me, that
In
is
Christ.
huge.
In Christ.
Yeah, that is one of my wheelhouses, is making sure that people know, hey, you have an identity that is based on a Savior. Your identity is not in the addiction. It's not in the homelessness. It's not in your decisions. Your identity, if you will so choose it, is in Jesus Christ, because He's already chose you before the foundations of the earth. And our job is to present Jesus to people and to do it in a manner that it is appealing.
There's a scripture, and I know you'll probably know it, but it just makes me think of this place. But it's the scripture about what you have done for the least of these, you've done it unto me. And that's what I think, because the homeless population, the drug addicts, we are at the time the least of these.
Least. And Dr. Shane was just here a little bit ago, and he shared that very scripture. And they questioned is, when did we do those things for you? He said, when you did it to the least of these, you did it for me. You did it to me. And I think if we keep that at the forefront of our mind, man, we're doing this. You know, if I look at the people in front of me, I asked the Lord a long time ago in a prayer. I said, let me see people the way you see them. It's a dangerous prayer, because the Lord will allow you to see even the most downtrodden, broken person the way He sees them. And He sees them beyond that. He sees them through the lens of the cross. And I think as long as we do that, we'll do what we do well, and we'll do it with great success.
And Faith City saw me through the eyes of Jesus. I can promise that.
Yes, and we still do. Michelle, I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming. I don't get to see you as much in here because I'm busy doing other things now, but I watch you, whether it be through social media or where you pass through, and I see you truly practicing what you've been taught, and not just for yourself, but to help other people. And I think if there's anything that we could ask here at all, we don't, as you know, we don't charge for anything we do. I think for me, the greatest repayment is to be able to watch somebody and see them doing what you're doing, ministering to people, encouraging people, getting people with the right resources, getting people before the Lord, leading people to Jesus. I think for me, that's the greatest return of what the investment that was made in you.
It's
and
not
you were
in
well
vain.
worth it. Yeah, you were well worth the investment.
Thank you.
And so
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of you. Thank you for coming out.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Hug your neck.
Yes.
I love you so much. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I felt so nervous. I felt like I was just like, was a jitter in my leg the whole time.
You did great.
Thanks.
You did great.
Thank you.
And we're back once again. We are with Angel Winery. Angel is she is a current student in our
I'm in aftercare.
She is in aftercare. I apologize. She's graduated the Esther's House Women's Program, and so Angel, I want you to share with us what was your situation prior to coming to Faith City. You know, what was your were you homeless? Did you have a place to stay? And then what brought you here? Let's just do that first. What was your situation before coming here, and what brought you to Faith City Mission?
My situation before I came here was I was homeless. I was doing drugs and doing things that I shouldn't have been doing to find places to stay, breaking into places I shouldn't to be able to sleep when it was cold. Not knowing about this place prior to going to prison and getting out and calling other places, and then being literally led here by another business saying, this is what you're looking for. And honestly, it was.
Very good. So, in your time that you've been here, what are some of the things that you have realized coming into this type of a structure, at basically what is a rescue mission or a homeless mission, to come in to do the recovery program, having experienced homelessness yourself? What are some of the things that you have realized being here?
That homelessness isn't just for people on drugs. It can be anything. And Faith City has an amazing outreach program for it. Like, the holidays are my favorite time.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite times. I can't wait.
Yeah.
But since I'm in aftercare, I get to actually help check in the women. I get to discuss stuff with them. I've got one that calls me Pippi, and she's trouble. And it's just seeing that I'm not any better than them, even though I'm in the program. They're still in the program. It's just on the other side.
Yeah. And so, coming out of a drug addiction, a homeless situation, one of the things that you guys do in the program is you help with the emergency shelter, the overnight shelter for women. Would you say that coming out of a homeless situation and now being able to help, get the beds ready, get the ladies in, get them scrubs, whatever it may be, do you feel like it gives you a different level of compassion towards them because you've been there and you didn't realize, hey, there is a place for me where I can go that's safe, and now you have that opportunity to say, I get to give back?
Yes.
How does that
Absolutely.
affect you?
Like, some of the ladies that come in there, they hold down jobs. Like, they have full-time jobs, and they come here because they just don't have a place to stay. So seeing how one of the ladies, I love this lady, like, I come home one day from work, and I have a card, like an actual card that's just thanking me for being me and for all the things that I do and being unique. Like, it's amazing to see that I can help and just be an ear they can listen to them.
Yeah, it matters, doesn't it?
It does.
It matters to be able to meet somebody right where they're at. You're not doing what you're doing here with the expectation of returning to receive a card or a gift from them, but just to be able to say, I just want to bless you. And I think that's huge. In your opinion, what do you think makes the programs at Faith City unique?
It's not just recovery. It's the Timothy Initiative.
Yeah.
I love the Timothy Initiative.
Yeah. So briefly share what is the Timothy Initiative for those that are tuning in that don't know.
It's come alongside and I'll teach you. Okay? Now you show me. Now go out and do.
Yes. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we adopted that from the life of Paul with Timothy as he brought Timothy as his understudy, and he brought him alongside and he said, I want you to come alongside and help me. You're going to watch me do this. And then he said, then you're going to help me do it. And then he said, you'll go do it and report back, and then you'll go and you'll do it to other faithful men and women. And really where Angel is, she is at the level of you go and do it and come back and report. And so not only within the mission, but even, outside of here, you're going to school.
I'm going to school.
What are you going to school for?
Psychology.
Okay. And then you just got another job.
Yes.
This week. And so the doors are opening for you to take the lessons learned here to other men and women.
Yes.
And that's really that's the responsibility of all of us. And so why do you feel that a place like Faith City is important to Amarillo?
Because it's a safe environment, even if it's just for the night for some people, or if it's for the year-long program. It helps get out of harmful weather. Like, I think next week we have the inclement weather starting.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is next week.
Yeah, it starts next week.
So that means that it doesn't matter any time of night, that anybody can come in and get shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And it may be a busy season for us, but
yeah,
it's worth it.
It's well worth it. Now, you're not from Amarillo.
No.
Where are you from?
Pampa.
Pampa. And so you came from an outlying area. We just interviewed Michelle Russell. She's from Pampa as well. And I think people don't realize that the reality of it is, especially like in the women's program right now, most of our women are not from Amarillo.
They are not.
And so for them to have found themselves in a situation out in the streets without any help, without any covering, and to make their way to Amarillo and then to make their way into the door, it's vitally important.
Yes, and there is a waiting list, but it's well worth the wait.
Yeah, for the program, yeah, absolutely. We stay full most of the time, especially in the women's program, but, that's part of the reason why we felt the need to open the emergency shelter, so that there was a place for women to come in out of the elements. And you get to be a firsthand partner in that, helping set that up, tear it down, and do that every day. And so, what's the one lesson in your little over a year that you've been here that you can look at and say, it's that lesson right there that changed the trajectory of my life? It was that aha moment that you had while you were here, and you're like, oh, I get it. I can be more than what they say. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not worthless. I'm not. It was that one moment where you can pinpoint and say, that was the turning point for my life.
I would have to say working the Genesis process.
The Genesis process is difficult.
It was difficult, but actually pinpointing where in my life, what traumas and bruises and things made me react the way that I reacted to certain situations and sent me down the rabbit hole of addiction. The abandonment, the rejection, the fear, all of that is what I realized that I don't have to have that. My favorite verse is 2 Timothy 1:7. And it goes, God has not given me the power or given me a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That is one of my favorite verses. And I've told some of the girls that have had situations where they were scared and were having to go take care of some issues outside of the program before they could come back because they were terrified. I was like, just remember this verse. This is the verse you need to remember.
Yeah, it's really the changing of the mind. And so, if you could relay one thing to those that are checking us out and tuning in during this live feed, if there's one thing that you could say to them and say, this is why Faith City is important to the homeless community, to the drug community, what is it that you'd like to relay to them?
It's a faith-based environment that is loving and well managed, and is willing to help anybody that wants to help.
Yeah.
And truly wants to help.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Angel, it's been a joy to watch you grow, and I know that we're just beginning. You're, as we say during graduation, this is not the end. This is your launching point. And, you're on a path for great success, and with the hope that not only you stay successful, but you bring other people with you along the way and you point them. So I want to thank you for coming out. I know you guys are busy back there. It's a busy time of the day. And so I thank you for taking your time to come out and sit with me, just kind of briefly sharing your story. I've heard it, and I've seen it up close, but for those that are tuning in that may not know, oh man, they're doing a lot more than just 3 meals a day. To see lives that are truly transformed, I think is really, really important for our community to know that we are intentional to see lives changed.
You are.
One life at a time. And so I thank you. I love you so very much. I'm very proud of you. And man, it's just been an honor to sit here with you tonight.
You too.
Yes, ma'am. Well, thank you.
Thank you.